Yo, what's poppin', Logang? Welcome back to another episode of Vending Machine Isekai Weekly, and this time we have a very special double episode because Neon, the heathen, for some unimaginable reason, didn't want to watch Peak on his vacation.
It's not that I didn't want to, it's that I literally did not have the opportunity. I don't think I barely got a minute to myself while I was on vacation.
You mean you put other priorities before Vending Machine Isekai?
I know, it was a massive mistake paying any amount of attention to my nieces and nephews while Peak was there waiting for me to experience. Because you don't just watch Peak, you live it.
Yeah, I mean, in a hypothetical situation where you have your divorce papers next to you and you're supposed to be doing those, if an episode of Vending Machine Isekai comes out, you stop what you're doing. You watch it immediately. It doesn't matter the task at hand. You stop, drop, and watch Vending Machine Isekai. Yeah, these episodes were okay. They were fine.
Yeah, I can't tell if a lot, definitely a lot happened in the 6th episode. 5th, not so much. That one's just kind of fillery.
More happened in the 5th episode, but more of substance happened in the 6th episode. Episode 5 is very much akin to episode 3 in the sense that it's just kind of a slice of life episode. And in terms
this
of
is when the show's at its weakest.
I mean,
well,
thankfully,
this one was better than episode 3
yeah.
because it has hulemy in it.
I wouldn't even say that's the sole reason, but that is one of the reasons. If I had to rank these episodes compared to everything in the series so far, I think they'd be sandwiched right in between. It'd be episodes 2 and 3 at the bottom, then these two in the middle, then 1 and 4 at the top.
Okay, you can't forget the peak that is episode 4.
Episode 4 is the best episode in the series so far, and the only one that's actually good, by the way. I'll just get that out of the way. It's the only actually good episode so far. So, episode 5... Oh, you were gonna say something?
I was just gonna say, what, you didn't like the anime girl shitting arc?
That was peak. Actually, I'm not even being sarcastic when I say that. I kind of... It's something that most isekai, and shows in general, honestly, I don't even know why I said isekai there, because it's every adventure show, just sweeps under the rug, but you do need to use the restroom at some point. And apparently that's a thing that can be vended, so sure, why not?
I think it was less that it could be specifically vended, but there's a special type of vending machine that has that little apparatus of a one-person tent and like a makeshift toilet that you can build on the side of it in case of emergencies. Which it makes me think, what the fuck is like going on in Japan where they have to, like, do you have to do that in public? Do you have to like set up the tent and the little can and the bag and you just drop a deuce
question.
On like
my
the
question
crosswalk
is,
or on the side?
Okay, so it was established in episode 1 that what this guy is able to vend, and it's reiterated in episode 4, that everything he can vend he has used. When did he need like an oxygen mask or this tent to poo in?
Was it actually specified?
Yes, it was specified. In episode 1, he's like monologues it, and then in episode 4, he's like explaining why, like, I didn't buy the panties for any weird reason, because he had to have bought them in order to vend them.
I thought he just had like a list of anything. I thought it was limited to like his imagination / the skill tree and like his knowledge of vending machines. Because like how the fuck was he gonna ever use an oxygen mask machine or a gas machine?
I have the same question, but I could have sworn that was a mechanic that was introduced in the first episode. Comments can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I feel like that was said.
I don't know, but I also don't care enough to go back and check myself, so we'll leave that to the comments.
You know, honestly, I'm of the
The
same
diehard
opinion.
vending machine isekai fans that are watching this podcast. We are the #1 vending machine isekai podcast in the world. We have that world record.
We are also the only vending machine isekai podcast in the world.
Exactly,
But hey,
win by default.
Don't let that get us down. So, episode 5 has sort of 2 separate stories that neither of which really mean a whole lot. So, actually, this episode does start with something important, which is that Lammis's backstory is exposited to us by Hulemy, where it's revealed that the reason why Lammis likes boxxo so much is because her parents died. And so she like gets a God, I need to sneeze. Okay, hold on. Okay, the urge went away. She Yeah, I was just so emotional at it that I just needed to sneeze. I don't know how my emotions caused that, but hey, it's a really tear-jerking backstory. But it's because of that she gets very attached to boxxo as a friend. And, you know, yeah, she basically clings to anyone who she can be close best buds with. Which, it's a fine enough backstory. I don't think it was told particularly powerfully. It's just sort of
because we don't get a flashback scene. We are just told that it happened.
We do get a dream sequence, but it doesn't really. It doesn't show.
It's just of
much
Lammis
of
and Hulemy hanging out.
Yeah.
It's not like the village getting attacked by the monsters or her like direct reaction to it or aftermath.
Funnily enough, I'm more interested in a very subtle detail in the not in the backstory, but in the dream sequence than the entire backstory, which is that her parents considered like I think she monologues to herself, you know, I don't want to embarrass mom and dad again with my strength or something to that effect. And I was like, that's a legitimately interesting character trait that has to do with her personal feelings about her having this, you know, magical strength that most people don't have. And honestly, I felt that was way more interesting than her parents died backstory.
I guess I just thought I let that wash over me like it was just part of her bog standard isekai backstory.
I mean, I don't think that's bog standard.
I mean, how many we can't name like individual ones I'd imagine, but like how many times have we seen isekai with main heroines that have tragic or sad backstories?
No, I'm not talking about the
were
parents
too
died
weak
part. That absolutely is bog standard. I'm talking about the bit of her being embarrassed by her strength.
And I just thought that came with the territory. Well, I guess that part by
I mean,
itself.
I want to hear more about it. I want to hear more about her hang-ups with her strength, because that is one of the more unique aspects of her character.
Well, see, that would involve the show getting like taking a deep dive into like a character study of someone who would be that embarrassed of their own strength. And is this show emotionally mature and intelligent enough to tackle that?
Of course it is. It's vending machine isekai.
Yeah, the condom vending machine isekai is definitely prepared. It taught us everything we need to know about sex education, so surely it can handle survivor's guilt.
Honestly, I think by the end of this show, we'll be talking about the meaning of life in a very philosophical way.
What does it mean to vend?
To vend or not to vend? That is the question. But after that,
nothing of importance happened.
Yeah, there's like this golden art. Okay, so boxxo is getting taken to this technology show off between a bunch of rich people. Which,
but
by
why,
the way,
though?
Because the lolly brat, who I hate, by the way, and still hate, wants to show off to this other lolly brat, who I also hated, and they have a they have a brat off. And they show off their technology. Except boxxo doesn't even get shown off because the other lolly brat's invention took like a human soul and put it inside an inanimate object, that's illegal. And so the reason why it's illegal is because when they're put into an inanimate object, they say kill, kill, and then destroy everything. And Hulemy has to take him on. Although, something I will say is that I think this is one of the first times where the show has, I won't say sold its goofy tone, or its attempted goofy tone, but where it was at least, an attempt was made. Like, the one lolly brat has all these grunts that try to stop the guy in the armor, and it's literally the same design copy pasted that come out, but it's like it starts off as one guy, then they just like Vegas track motion,
shadow clone jutsu.
Yeah, I feel like that was an intentional bit of directorial. Like, even the fact that there are guys in suits and ties with black sunglasses is a testament to an attempt.
Yeah, in this fantasy world.
In this fantasy world, I feel is a testament to this show trying to be goofy. And, like, admittedly, the way the golden armor moves is very goofy. Like, it's very over the top, trying to be creepy, but at the same time not really trying to be creepy. There's like these sudden, almost, I wouldn't say jump scare-esque, but like just sudden close-ups to its glowing red eyes, but in a very, a way that's impossible to take seriously. And I do feel that was the point. And it was the first time where I was like, you know what? I wish this show was better directed, but I can kind of vibe with the goofiness now.
Yeah, it's I kind of enjoyed the bickering between the two lolly brats, if only because they're hurling like adult level insults to each other while children.
What got me to laugh
basic
during
bitch
that
shit,
scene,
but
yeah, what got me to laugh.
I wasn't
during that
laughing. I was just like,
scene wasn't what they were saying, but Boxxo being like, "Oh my god, this is not what children should be saying to each other. They're speaking like adults who hate each other." And I was like, yeah, you know what? You are right, Boxxo. Astute observation, my good sir. But what I felt, and this ties back into the directing, I felt like in a better show that would have directed the scene better, it would have gotten a kick out of me, because the visuals would have accentuated what the characters were saying, and I would have been like, oh, that, you know, that really sells the idea that they absolutely loathe each other.
Yeah, they just rely on like close-ups to the face and don't do anything.
There's a lot of lifeless panning shots in this show.
Yep.
And let's see. Hulemy at the end goes into this monologue about how soul in the armor, you must have been in so much pain. And I like that monologue, except I hate the music that plays behind it, because mind you, this entire fight scene has been mega goofy, impossible to take seriously. And then we immediately cut to sad music in the background. I'm like, why are you so signposting how I should feel? I will feel sad in my own time. It is very jarring.
I will feel sad when I'm good and ready, sir.
Yeah, it's a very jarring juxtaposition. And sometimes that works in shows like, I know you're gonna hate me for this, but Sangatsu no Lion. But in this show, not so much. At the very least for this scene.
Yeah, the only highlights of the of this half of the episode were the I suppose the lollies hurling insults at each other, the attempt at humor being made sparsely throughout, and the fact that Boxxo didn't even need to be there.
Yeah, he was pointless to the entire thing.
Yeah, it could have been just Hulemy and like making up her own magical items. And
but the novel was written in first person, so he gotta be there.
It's almost like it's the pointless addition.
I didn't mind. To be fair to the show, right? A bit of devil's advocate here. The show is self-aware about it, and that is the ending joke. The fact that he did not contribute anything to this scene. So I think it ties in well enough and would probably honestly be more natural in a first person novel because the idea that the character always has to be there is more immediately understood in a novel.
Yep. It's okay though, because Boxxo makes up for it in the second half, where he becomes Boxxo, the based anti-corporate capitalist.
Boxxo supports small businesses. Let's go.
Boxxo would tear down Bezos and Amazon if it was real.
Yeah, so Boxxo, basically, right, and this is another testament to the show trying to be very goofy with its logic. There is this big chain restaurant called the Chain Restaurant. The restaurant's logo is a bunch
I never
of chains.
doubted Peak for a second.
I thought that was great.
It's just called Chain's Restaurant.
Yeah, it's so silly, but it never failed to get a kick out of me.
It's fucking stupid humor, and I appreciate stupid humor from time to time.
Yeah, and so Chain's Restaurant is taking over, but Boxxo was like, nuh-uh. And so and so he all right. The small restaurants are cooking up, their meals, but this world doesn't have readily available spices, and the Chain's Restaurant also doesn't have those spices. But Boxxo, on the other hand, he has all the spiced versions of the food. He can supply them with the spices. He can give them like a basis to go off of in terms of how food should be made. And so by the end, they have overtaken Jeff Bezos and his infinite capital.
And they retreat, and they don't put any of the small businesses out, and they won. So this is the most fantastical part about this show, that the small businesses beat the big corporation.
Yeah, that's the most unrealistic part of the show. Not the guy turning into a vending machine. That I could suspend my disbelief for that, but now it's finally broken.
I'd sooner believe we can cyborg a human being into a vending machine before we dismantle Amazon.
Oh, the wonderful state of affairs on Earth right now. And that's
it for episode 5. If this were if we did this episode last week, we'd be done by now.
Yeah. The 18 minutes in. Yeah, it's a better slice of life episode than episode 3, because episode 3 was so disparate and disconnected in what it attempted to do. Nothing really ever amounted to any cohesive whole or even part of a whole.
But it did have the condom scene.
Yeah, but that was hard carrying an otherwise completely lifeless episode. Whereas this
did
like
have the condom scene.
Yeah, I know. I am aware. But this episode tells 2 self-contained stories. And while they're not particularly good, they're acceptable. They are bare minimum what you want out of an episodic story.
Yeah, then episode 6 opens with what I can only assume is, well, we had to, this was in the story, and we are not so smart when it comes to adapting light novels that we couldn't just, like, tack this on to any other, slice of life portion of the episode before our big plot quest.
This feels like something out of episode 3, honestly.
Yeah, so let's throw in a quick side story about a female hentai protagonist trying to get the attention of the bald guard guy by cooking like any good woman should.
See, I liked the idea of like, okay, so Boxxo is this inanimate object that everyone is just used to by now. And so he can witness like these small stories passing by. And I presume that was part of the point of episode 3. But this was, honestly, if this was in episode 3, it'd be legitimately like the best story except for the condom scene. Because obviously that's peak. But every other story in episode 3 was worse than this one. And this one wasn't even good. So there you go.
I didn't understand how it ended, because I thought, like,
they get together.
Was trying to...
That's the end.
Yeah, but why is Boxxo, like, surprised at the girl and mad at the guy?
He's mad at the guy because he's jealous of his love life.
Oh, okay. I did not pick up on that at all. I thought from
It
my
was because
perspective,
he burned his
thought the
hand
guy-
because he was going on about her, and he was like, "Bruh,
Okay, see, what I thought would happen was that he didn't like pull the trigger on like actually dating her yet, and was just like taking advantage of the love made meals by her for so long before like actually deciding to go for it. And he's like, oh, why don't you go for it? Well, it's hot, why don't you? And it's just his way of saying like, fucking go ask her out already. Stop letting her cook for you all the time, you misogynist.
No, I do not think that is what they were going for. I think it's just they get together, but Boxxo, he's a vending machine. He doesn't have no love life except for lammis.
Well, why was he so surprised at the girl when she lifted up her hentai protagonist bangs?
Because she showed her face for the first time, and he thought she was really pretty. And he was like, oh, wow, she really is a looker. And so when the guy started going on about how great it was to have her cook for him, he got really jealous because he also
But he was the one who helped her to
but that was before he knew that she was so pretty. And so now he's a little jealous.
So he wouldn't have, so he only did it on the basis that he didn't know how hot the girl was.
I mean, he was trying to do a basically good thing, but then he saw her and he was like, oh, wow, she really is pretty. And then just gets instinctively jealous.
That's fucked up, Boxxo. Just because she's hot.
I feel like we're getting significantly different readings of this scene.
I don't know. I'm just trying to extrapolate content from something that had no business being in this episode.
Yeah. But eventually the episode does begin proper, and I think this episode is... It's weird in terms of quality, because the first half I'd say is worse than episode 5, and then the second half clears it. Because the first half is just kind of another generic adventure episode where we beat the frog guys via still frame panning shots. Get used to those in the fight scenes.
I think we were spared the crocodile mob fight scenes with the party this time.
But anyway, so the entire adventure is about finding, basically, there's all these reptiles. The reptilians are invading. They are hidden among us in all our institutions, and they have to fight the reptilians. And they're apparently from a different strata, whatever it's called. Is it called a strata? Different layer of
stratum.
The thing. Stratum. A different layer of the abyss. And so they go after them, but then the boss croc, Mr. Boss Croc himself comes in and vores Boxxo.
That's finally, like, once again we have returned to peak.
It's not the type of vending machine vor that we wanted, but we're a step closer to it. Right? We are one step closer.
Wait, what is the type of vending machine vor that we wanted?
I think it was while we were speculating how the nasty would work between Lammis and Boxxo.
He just fucking eats her, or it's like it's like the classic vending machine gag where someone's trying to reach up to grab one of the snacks and they somehow get stuck inside the entire machine.
Yeah.
We're
still a few steps away from that for now.
That reminds me, by the end of this episode, we got to check Rule 34 to see if they
we do
increase the number of vending machine isekai porn yet.
You better have, and someone better have drawn some beautiful
hulemy.
Beautiful, yeah. God, my cat is meowing so loud.
Your cat wants to know too. Did they have the artist gone to work at drawing Peak yet?
But anyway, He gets bored.
Well, before he gets forward, we do see him use more strategic tactics against the enemies by using ice. He turns into an ice machine to dump a bunch of ice into the crocodile's river, where they force them to come out of it because it's so cold, and they're and then he uses dry ice in a combination with the blue hair mage girl's fog magic to fog up the marsh so they could all ambush him.
Yeah, this episode probably has the best use of tactics for Boxxo so far, where it isn't ridiculous like the Coke and Mentos, and it isn't just this is a type of vending machine that exists, like the air mask. It's like genuinely thinking outside the box, where we dump ice into the river so the crocs come out, then we ambush them, and there's a lot more of that once he gets swallowed up, where at first he God, what was it? Some kind of like laundry detergent or cleaning agent or something like that?
I think it's definitely some kind of like cleaning detergent that you're not supposed to eat.
Yeah, and it gave him an upset stomach. But after that, he decides to use the forbidden technique.
Yeah, he gasses him.
Yeah, he gets gas, and then
literally violating the Geneva Convention.
Yeah, chemical warfare. There we go. Boxxo violated the Geneva Convention.
Damn, we should have put that in the thumbnail.
I'm gonna put that in the thumbnail now.
Yeah. Fuck double episode. Call it Geneva. Just say Geneva Convention : violated.
There we go. Here, I'm changing it right now, and as I change that, I will describe how he sets like a towel on fire in the microwave via a can. He gets all the ingredients together and microwaves them when you ought not to, in order to put the fire into the dude's stomach, and then
it was badass. He made a makeshift Molotov cocktail.
Yeah, it's great. Boxxo, he takes this coin that he gets passed by, it falls out of the sky because he beat the boss, and if you beat the boss, you get a very special reward. And then after that, the strata breaks, and he falls into the next layer of the abyss, presumably.
We can only hope so. We'd really like to see a new fucking floor of this dungeon, please.
Oh, absolutely. I am so sick of this one. I want to be out right now.
Get me out of Isekai Town.
But I will say, it is, and maybe this was intentionally funny, but it's kind of funny how as soon as hulemy explains, or it's not hulemy, but the blue-haired girl, I think, explains to Boxxo, yo, there's these things called boss monsters.
Oh, it's hulemy.
It is hulemy, okay.
Yeah,
there's these things called boss monsters, and they're pretty powerful, and they give you a special reward. Oh, hey, there's one now.
It's fucking incredible, like that, the pacing of the show. No, you sold it exactly correctly. It's literally like, oh yeah, Boxxo,
it is immediately after. She doesn't say anything nearly that funny, though. That would have actually been like self-aware. Or I guess would have made the self-awareness more palpable, so that you can be like, yeah, this show's goofy, that's the point. But as it is, it doesn't really sell the punchline. In a well-paced show,
the Lord would like show up at the end after some teasing of what a Lord is, and maybe the Lord's behind this whole monster infestation thing, and then the next episode, we can fight the Lord. No, not in Peak. Peak has very different ideas of what pacing is.
Yeah, it do be like that. I mean, hey, maybe we just don't understand the avant-garde storytelling techniques on display in Vending Machine Isekai. I mean, are we really supposed to understand Peak that quickly?
Well, speaking of understanding Peak, we finally get a peek at Boxxo's accumulative point counter after so long. Motherfucker is like 170,000.
Oh, he's set for life.
Yeah, like he presumably lost a shit ton in the fight with the croc, but I mean, like, come on, dude. that gold coin that he get. Oh, the special treasure that the boss monster drops is a coin.
That's Oh wait, it's made just for him.
Yeah, is it so like
It's
either
gonna give
that's
him
gonna have like a
$100,000.
shit ton of points. Yeah, it's either gonna give a shit ton of points or like some kind of special mutation. Because it
Although
specifically
him getting a
like
special mutation would actually be in line with like what I want the series to be of getting more powers over time. Although so far that has not been done exceptionally well, I will say. So I'm not sure if I have much faith in it being good as we go on.
Well, now that we know that Boxxo can fight to some extent, that only brings up one more question. Can he beat Goku?
Depends, how hungry is Goku in this scenario?
Ah, shit, well, Goku... That's the thing, Goku's always hungry.
Okay, well then he wins instantly.
And Goku is rich, also.
Oh,
So
he's rich. Okay, but he could buy better food elsewhere. That's the thing.
Well, I don't think he cares about like too much about the quality of the food. If he as long as he's
See, I haven't seen Dragon Ball Z, so you're the one explaining this all to me.
Yeah, no, yeah, you know the meme of how shonen characters eat all the fucking time, right? Like,
yes,
more than their like body mass.
Yeah, even I, uncultured as I am, know of that meme.
So he would empower Boxxo by paying him to take all of his stuff. The question is, can his barrier withstand a Kamehameha powerful enough to destroy a planet? Is
feel
Boxxo
like we need a
planet
few
level?
100 more points, or a few 100,000 more points before we get to that.
Yeah, is Boxxo like country level, planet level, universal level?
Hey, maybe by episode 12 he will be defeating the master of all galaxies.
He will slay God and will turn this into a true RPG.
I can't wait for episode 12. Boxxo kill. That's gonna be oh wait, not episode 12 because that's gonna be the hentai we commissioned. But episode 11 will be Boxxo kills God. No matter what actually happens in the episode.
Do we ever agree on like by the end of the episode, or the end of the series, we would get like one hilariously slutty clickbait vending machine isekai thumbnail for the podcast?
We didn't formally agree to it, and I don't feel like spending the money, so it might just be it might just stay a meme. Our memes might stay dreams.
How confidently do you think you could sketch something like that? I just take a picture of it. For the bit.
That is a good question. I will consider that.
All right, that's the most exciting thing to come out of both of these episodes.
Yeah, that's. I feel like we're about it. Episode 6 started boring. I think it barely edges out episode 5 by the end, just by having tactics and actual consequences to the narrative. But neither of them are good. That's the thing.
I'm starting to, once again, the fears creeping in that Boxxo is just overpowered, because nothing has really challenged him yet. He's never had to be put on like the back
foot. I feel like
we've
been at the point where Boxxo. It depends on your definition of like what qualifies as overpowered, but I think it's pretty clear at this point that like
he's not hurting for points.
He ain't gonna get.
It's not like
this is.
It's not like the Spawn
isekai
thing where he has to constantly keep track of his power meter. His motherfucker Boxxo's power meter is constantly full. Bro's got level 5 supers going all day.
If this series challenges Boxxo at all, I will be shocked, because right now...
Well, what is the natural enemy of the vending machine? What is the one thing that can challenge him?
People
the forklift.
Forklift.
Someone who is forklift certified.
People who pick the lock and get all his quarters.
Yeah, but he could just stop them, as has been established.
True. But hold on, but most of the time when he stops them. Well, okay, he does have the barrier and
Yeah, he
infinite
just
money, so
put up
never
the barrier.
mind. No. Okay, depends though. They could like sleep next to him and like constantly be there. Get him away from Lammis, and then like slowly try to pickpocket him. You know, and when he has the barrier up, okay, we'll just camp out here. You'll have to keep that up forever, bro. You'll have to concede after a few months, my guy.
Bro, he defeated the boss of the floor and Jeff Bezos. He's unstoppable.
True. To be fair, having beaten Jeff Bezos, he has beaten the most greedy man of all. So I think a simple robber would be more than enough for him to handle.
Yeah, he cannot be stopped. He is truly he puts Kirito to shame. He puts fucking the demon misfit demon king guy to shame. Who's another stupidly overpowered isekai protagonist? The Ari Fuerta guy, the
Just
edgelord with the eye patch.
all the isekai protagonists are overpowered like this.
Yeah, I still that's got I don't even I don't want to go into. Part of me wants to make this video, but that would require watching all of these isekai, and
I want to make that same video.
The
Unlike
isekai
you, I have no
the
life.
power scale tier list.
Oh, not the power scale tier list. I was thinking like
Who is the strongest isekai protagonist? The
oh,
most
actually,
overpowered
that would
one?
be funny.
If you put them all in a
But-
battle royale, who would win?
That would be hilarious to do, but I was thinking more so just the ultimate isekai expose. And now that I've seen this, I can use it as an example in that video. So hey, it worked out in the end.
Yeah, so now with Boxxo supposedly falling into a new stratum with the stratum split and whatnot, we can only hope that, please God, put us in a new location with some new faces, new world. Please don't let it be just Isekai Town 2, where same shit, different backdrop.
Imagine how funny it would be. This won't happen, but imagine how funny it would be is if this is like the generic Isekai land layer, and then after this it just becomes Maiden Abyss.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I'm not expecting, Maiden Abyss or One Piece levels of dramatically different locations every new arc, but at least change it up a little.
He gets to like the bottom layer, and he sees where the vending machines originate. He sees more of his kind, and then Lammis cheats on him. And that's the end of the show.
He gets NTR'd by all the vending machines.
Yeah, by another vending machine.
While they all do a fucking gangbang on Lammis.
He has to watch. Oh no, you're putting images in my head.
It's the fucking Eclipse from Berserk, but instead of guts, it's boxxo.
I have no idea what the Eclipse from Berserk is. I'm telling you that right now.
I'm very surprised. That is like the most.
I don't know
one of the most
anything
famous
about Berserk other than that bad things happen. It's very depressing.
Okay, it's the most bad thing, depressing thing that happens in the show. Well, maybe not so depressing as it is horrifying, but I'll have to explain it to you off camera because explaining it now will take too much time,
and will probably get us demonetized if I know anything about Berserk.
Yeah, so I think that'll just about do it for this episode.
Yeah, honestly, we've been done for the past 5 minutes and just kind of continued shitposting, because why not? Yeah. The best thing I can say about this block of episodes is that it has a baller thumbnail. See ya.